know anything about the job to do the job. You just have to do the job.
I mean,
Probably.
to be fair, most of the jobs I've had, that's how it's been. The people who know the least about it always like were the ones that the higher ups loved the most for some reason. Anyway, so DeSantis tweaks Florida book challenge law, blames liberal activist who wanted Bible out of schools. So, 2 years ago, Democrats repeatedly and forcefully warned Republicans and Governor Ron DeSantis that a new law making it easier to challenge school books was so broadly worded that it would create havoc across the state. Now they can say, I told you so. Well, we've been able to say I told you so for a while. Like, how long ago was it that we covered the dictionaries being banned story?
I think that was like a month and a half ago at this point. Might have been more. And
this is still like an old news story. Like, this has been going on for a while. And it, like, right away, it was a big shit show. So he backtracked on the law, and he's signing a new bill to narrow its focus. He blamed liberal activists for abusing the law, not the citizens whose objections to certain books account for the majority of the removals from the school libraries and classrooms. But, like, if you write a law that can be abused, and it is very easy to abuse, and people warn you in advance that it will be abused, and then you pass that law anyways, can you really blame the people who are abusing it?
Like, you can blame a lot of the people who are abusing it depending on what they're doing still, but like, generally speaking, if you make a law like an idiot, then the lawmaker is where the primary concern is.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, like, there are ways he could have phrased it.
Compliance works. This is why malicious compliance is amazing.
Yeah, there's a way that he could have phrased it so that it would not leave it open to just anybody challenging shit. Like the tightening up that he's done is something like, we'll get into it later, but the details are like, if you don't have a child in the school system, you can only challenge one book per month. But like, if you don't have a child in the school system, why are you allowed to challenge books at all? The whole idea behind this supposedly is giving parents some control over their kids' education in the school system. So if you don't have a child in the school system, why are you still able to control it?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing to actually care that much. If you're like, what, like a 60-year-old politician, you're probably not having kids at that point, and you still really want to have a say in this when it doesn't affect anyone in your life, really.
Okay, well, I'm getting ahead of myself here because there's actually it's not the old aging politicians who are responsible for most of the book bans. We'll get to that.
Okay.
So DeSantis said the idea that someone can use the parents' rights and the curriculum transparency to start objecting to every single book to try and make a mockery of this is just wrong. That's performative. That's political. This bill is performative and political.
To be honest, a lot of bills are performative and political in the United States.
Well, I mean,
it's why we put writers on them.
I mean, by definition, every bill is political. That's what politics is passing bills and shit. If you manage to pass a bill that's not political, then I want to know how that happened, because definitionally that's not possible.
It's not political because it's not woke or something,
imagine,
probably.
Imagine a politician getting upset that something is political. Like, you are political. That's your job.
Your job.
Like, what? So PEN America, a group that fights book bans, issued a report on Tuesday saying that Florida is responsible for 72% of the books that have been pulled from the nation's schools in the first half of the current school year. And the group said that liberal activists are not the ones who should be blamed for abusing the law. The majority of books that we see being removed are books that talk about LGBTQ... Well, they forgot the G in there. I assume that's just a typo. Poor gay men. They talk about LGBTQ plus identities that include characters of color, that talk about race and racism, that include depictions of sexual experiences in the most broadest interpretation of that understanding. And those challenges are being made by conservative individuals and groups like Moms for Liberty. So it's not the liberals who are emptying their shelves. The liberals are targeting a very select few number of books that bring to light just how ridiculous the ban is, like the dictionary. The Bible
The
should absolutely
dictionary
be banned.
defines the word sex, therefore bad.
Yeah. So, like, that's what the liberals are doing. They're bringing to light how ridiculous the law is, whereas the conservative groups are the ones that are just spamming the system with remove all of these books. And with the way the law is, if I remember correctly, a book, the way the schools are handling it is as soon as there's a complaint, the book leaves the shelves until that book can be reviewed. But they have so many thousands of books right now in line waiting to be reviewed that, you'd have to have a full-time office building stuffed with reviewers just to review them, to get them all done in 20 years. So it's effectively, as soon as a book is complained about, it is effectively banned, even if it's not actually banned,
because it's the only way to make it. It's the only way to make that function at all.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that not being so, that's not functional, but it's the only way to make it do anything. And I guess I have to put up a different definition of function. Function in this case isn't doing something, because it's just spinning its wheels, because it's the only thing it can do. It can't function effectively.
Okay, I've got a request to read Ezekiel 23:20 in a very sensual manner. That's one of my memory verses. I don't have to read it. There she lusted after her lovers, whose emissions were like those of horses, and whose members were like those of a donkey. I might have gotten the donkey and the horse mixed up, because I often do. But that's it.
Nah, to be fair, so did Adam.
He tried them both.
None of these are suitable partners for me. I fucked everyone I've tried. God.
So yeah, the original law allowed any person, parent or not, district resident or not, so you didn't even have to live in the school district. You could then call up the district and challenge as many books as you want, as often as you like. And Rosina sent me $20 saying hugs for reading Ezekiel 23:20. I mean, if y'all are going to send me $20 every time I read dirty Bible verses in a sensual voice, I will get right on top of that. Oh, and Fennec says now Has Been Hotel music is playing in my head.
Yep.
So, okay.
First man, next to die.
Ooh, Morbid Palace cheered 15 bits. Thank you for that. So yeah, Has Been Hotel. The thing about that is that I actually, I don't like the songs as much as you did. They were catchy, but they're not anything that I'm ever going to listen to standalone. And I've seen the whole thing once, so I don't actually know the songs. Hat time. So I don't actually know the songs from Has Been Hotel. I couldn't hum the tune for very many of them. Stay Gone, I could do that one.
Stayed Gone's such a good villain song.
It is. Especially because the guy that is obviously a villain for the next season, that is a not villain, this one is the villain of that song. Yeah, no, for the most part, I don't know the tunes, but do you know what Gabby's Dollhouse is?
No, I don't.
It's a kids show where this girl named Gabby is she's a young teenager, and she's talking as though all little tiny children are in the room with her or whatever, and it starts with live action or whatever, and she does a little introductory thing, and then a bit of mail comes down her little mail thing in the form of a cat mailbox thing, and she opens it up and it'll be something relevant to the topic or whatever, and then she turns into a 3D animated cartoon, and they go into Gabby's dollhouse and play with her cat toys. But in one episode they didn't go to the dollhouse, they went to the Dollhouse Hotel. And there was a song that they sang 25 times in this 10-minute episode. And it was so fucking catchy, and I heard it so many times that I actually know it. And so now when I think of music associated with Has Been a Hotel, it's hotel
you think of the Dollhouse
music.
Hotel?
Except instead of being the Dollhouse Hotel, it's the Has Been Hotel. So it's the same number of syllables, so it fits. So I now have that song, I got that song out of my head not too long ago, but before I started watching Has Been Hotel. Then as soon as I became aware of that, I started, then it's the Has Been Hotel. Treat you so well, it's fantabulous. Leave it all to us at the Has Been Hotel. And that's not a song from that show, but because it's a musical, and I don't know the music from it, that's what I do.
With those lyrics, that actually would fit in Has Been, because that's just Charlie being cringe. It would just work. Also, fun fact, I love that Lucifer's daughter's name is Charlie, and he's obviously still pissed about the violin incident from the Charlie Daniels band.
Oh, see, I was going with it's Charlie's Angels because they're fallen angels.
It could be a double entendre, but for me, because the show makes
okay. Spoiler for the show: Vaggie is literally Charlie's angel.
Fuck. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right. Tales of Atonement says, "Oh please, Suris and Rhino doing Stayed Gone would be amazing."
See, I don't know all the words. I just know the tune.
But the question is, though, would you be Alistair or would you be Vox? Can you do the fast speak he does for the first third of the song?
No.
Okay, because
I can do the slow part.
Because I can do the fast speak.
If you get me in the morning, I can hit all the low notes.
Oh, perfect. Morning before coffee. Jacob,
you wish that you stayed gone. And like I can actually hit that note in the morning, like
welcome home. I'm gonna make you wish that you stayed gone. Say hello.
Less than Lucy says Rhino is Vox and Suris is Alistair. Sure.
But the problem with that though is, as much as I would love to do Alistair's part, if Rhino can't do the fast talking of Vox, then I have to do the Vox part because I can do the fast talking of Vox.
I mean, I probably could if I practiced, but I don't usually practice those things. Like you know how many bits I do in my videos where like, so I'm a semi-perfectionist where like
yeah.
The mistakes that I make really, really bother me. But there are times like if I'm in the middle of recording a video, like often I will get to a point where like I'm just fed up. I just want to be done recording or whatever. So it's like, nope, everything from here on out, one take, doesn't matter.
Stoff says, I love how easy it is to get us off topic. Yes, yeah, duh.
There's a reason when I cut up the stream, I have a dedicated video to our random off-topic tangents.
And I don't cut off the off-topic tangents.
Those are the ones where, well, I feel we often do callbacks to earlier tangents. So if it's in a separate video, the callback doesn't make sense. But it's kind of funny that I think of it that way because, like, you know, like I'm thinking of the new viewer, someone who's going to find like my standalone video on its own, and it's like, okay, well, I called back to an earlier tangent of that, so that needs to come out so that the new viewers, it makes sense for them. But then I have just a video of us talking about random shit that doesn't have anything to do with anything. And the title is usually with regards to something we hit in the middle of it. Like from last week's stream, I titled our random shit tangent thing off my Chrysler rant, which happens like almost at the end of it, and it's like an hour long. So they're going to be watching this be like, this isn't a Chrysler rant. So
Axolotls is saying, Suris, get Rhino to pick a color. They're drawing this. Apparently they're drawing us performing Stayed Gone in some form or fashion.
Oh, well, just do it in the colors of the show. Alistair is like red and black. TV guy is like blue and black. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go with that. I need...
What?
I want to show off my kids' artwork.
So do it?
Yeah, well, then I have to...
You just crop them out of the frame.
I know, but I don't like doing stuff like this live.
I mean, I'm here to entertain
people.
Fuck it,
we'll do it live.
Hey, everybody, have you heard about ShamWow? Jesus Christ. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let me see here. Can I actually find the transcription? Yes! Oh my god, the ShamWow transcription is there. I found it. Hi, it's Vince from ShamWow. You'll be saying wow every time. It's like a chamois, it's like a towel, it's like a sponge. The regular towel doesn't work yet. This doesn't work wet. This works dry. This is for the house, the car, the boat, the RV. ShamWow holds 12 times its weight in liquid. Look at this. It just does the work. Why do you want to work twice as hard? It doesn't drip, it doesn't make a mess. It doesn't wring it out. You wash your hands and watch in the washing machine. Made in Germany. You know, the Germans always make good stuff. I'm just going to stop it right there, because that line alone is comedy gold.
The Germans make good stuff.
The Germans make good stuff.
Yeah. No. Wasn't supposed to open that.
There's a video I saw of it was one of the guys who does like impersonations of different countries, and his impersonation of Russia was like, "We are going to start the next world war. It's time. Once we are done with Ukraine, everyone else is next." First person that comes up, United States. You sure you want everyone to be next? Are you positive? And then they go, "Are you sure you want to tell that to my friend over there?" And Germany's just sitting there going, "We must repurpose the Volkswagen factories. We are so back." Like, oh, nope, they're just gonna Russia against everybody. I guess they're going to deal with everybody war criming Russia. Morbid Palace says, "Wow, sirs, that was wild."
So that is my kid's angel.
It's a good angel dust.
It is a good angel dust. And let's see. I don't think what's... oh, no. Yeah, there we go. And that's Serpentious.
He's just licking a lollipop.
Yep. My kid is fucking talented.
Tales of Atonement says Von Stroheim enters the chat. Wait, Von Stroheim, is that German science is the best science from JoJo's? That was so weird. He's like, his whole story takes place right before World War II. So like, he's a good guy, and then World War II happens, and then the rest of JoJo's happens after World War II. So if Von Stroheim comes back, they could just be like, there was a gray part of his story.
So Fenix says, "Very well done, but why are your children watching Has Been Hotel?" Well, my two youngest have not, and my oldest is they're 14. So like, it's a bit young, but like all of their friends have seen it, and it's not like yeah, there is some pretty deep like the Angel episode. Yeah, that one, like there's some pretty heavy stuff in there that is like, all else being equal, I would rather none of my kids are exposed to those ideas until they're much later, but like they have already experienced they've already experienced stuff that is like not obviously not to that degree, but like their innocence was shattered by forces outside of my control a while ago, unfortunately. And that's but that's, I'm not going to give details about that, but yeah, like authorities were involved, and yeah.
I will say that almost every person who gets incredibly concerned about kids watching adult material, not like pornography obviously, but like adult material is in something that's R-rated, movie, playing an M-rated video game, anything like that, every person who gets hyper concerned about that did that shit when they were a kid anyway, and 9 times out of 10 they're the same type of people who will go like, this happened to me and I turned out okay, but then they make a really weird exception when it comes to media they can effectively virtue signal about. I'll just call that what I think it is. I grew up watching South Park and Resident Evil. I think most people will be okay.
Zerask says on the early internet, I was watching much worse at 14. Yeah, I was watching actual porn at 14.
I was watching actual porn at 14 too. On the early internet, there was a website that used to feature like gore and executions, like pictures of post executions. And I remember a friend of mine in high school showing me that, and I was like, I didn't know why he was showing me it, but I was introduced to it at 14 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually have much better control over what my kids are exposed to than any of my parents did when I was a kid. It's like I have like parental controls on their phone that lock everything down, where like if they want to install a new app, they have to ask my permission first. And like they can't just browse the web anywhere they want. And like, yeah, no, it's
Davinia Robin says, "Isn't South Park transphobic?" South Park is as problematic as it needs you to think it is. That is the point of South Park.
Yeah. Sakura says parental controls existed when you were a kid. They were just easy to bypass. Yeah. Well, not only were they easy to bypass, but my parents were split up. My father was very kind of like hands off with regards to that sort of thing. Like I know for a fact that he caught me with porn at least once because I was an idiot kid who was like, I went to Playboy.com because I knew Playboy was a dirty magazine. And if you put .com after a company name, you often get to their website. And then the website was
I remember pre-Google just putting .com at the end of random sentences, hoping I'd find something.
You can find some nasty shit that way. But Playboy was like, if you want to see stuff, enter your email address. And I thought that was an age verification. So I'm like, if I enter an adult's email address, it will let me in. Oh my God. So I put in my dad's email address. And he didn't really talk to me about it. He just kind of made a wry comment about it, which that's not necessarily the best way to go about doing that, but like he wasn't going to put parental controls on his computer because he saw it as kind of like a natural development sort of thing. And he was probably like, this was early internet days. He was probably a bit naive as to the dangerous shit that I could have gotten into. The type
of things that would actually be on there.
Yeah. And my mother just wouldn't have even known how, like, I think she tried once, but it was so easy to get around.
The only way that, so back then, the way that you found out that your kid was doing something untoward on the internet was either it popped up when you typed something in the search bar, on the top search bar. It wasn't a search bar back then. It was just an address bar.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, your computer got laden with so many viruses and you had to start asking questions somewhere. Mine was the latter. There's also, so Davinia Robin says, I know South Park made transition looks like it was easy and you can get bottom surgery without getting letters and such. Again, Davinia, South Park is a satire parody cartoon. If anybody is getting their beliefs from South Park, they need to reevaluate literally every decision they've made in their fucking life.
Okay, but we're also
from top to bottom.
Suris, we are talking about people who believe Trump when he says, "I am the humblest person to have ever existed."
Oh yeah, no,
like, that's not actually what he said, but that's not far off from what he said.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I like, so the reason I say that, Davinia, on the flip side of that, if you play not Stick of Truth, but Fractured But Whole, the second South Park RPG game, the opening of it when you're creating your character is the most inclusive way you can have a trans character in a video game. When Mr. Mackey is explaining, like, he literally goes in depth on, hey, if you're non-binary, that means this, and it means these things. And if you're this thing, then I'll go ahead and put it on your paper. Because it's him doing an interview for you, but it's the character creation sheet, basically, for the RPG. So that's why I said the South Park is as problematic as it needs you to think it is, because there are just as many people who will get pissed off that it's trans inclusive because of that, when it's made by the game's made by the same creators of the show, as there are people who will get pissed off at its misrepresentations of trans people. It is the point of South Park. It wants you upset at something it did.
It's edgy for the sake of edginess.
Correct. It's edgy in every direction.
Yeah. Man, bear, pig.
Yeah, there are two Man Bear Pig episodes. The one where they were making fun of climate change, and then the one where they were like, okay, but it's real, and they had Man Bear Pig be real as their way of cementing in the allegory. Yeah. Like, again, it's as problematic as it needs you to think it is. That is the entire point.
Yep. Anyway, back to the news item that we're ostensibly talking about. I think I already read this, but the original law allowed any person, whether they're a parent or not, or lived in the district or not, to challenge books as often as they wanted. The new law limits people who don't have students in a school district to 1 challenge per month, which is still too many for people that don't have students there. Your omnibus says, finally.
Hey guys, we're talking about news. Did you know that? Because I was just informed.
Yeah, and so just this week in conservative Clay County, one person challenged 40 books. And DeSantis campaigned very heavily on his education platform, which is basically a non-education platform.
Mm-hmm.
Termo 10 says, were we talking about the news? Oh, yeah. And so House Democratic leader Fentress Driscoll says, it's just a big mess that DeSantis created, and now he's trying to disown it, but I don't know if he'll be able to distance himself from this because he campaigned on it so hard.
That's what happens when instead of campaigning on things you actually believe in, you just spend your time trying to placate a whole bunch of bigots. It's weird when they start doing the eating faces thing. Sometimes it ends up being your face. It's awkward.
Okay, so I just got an email saying that somebody sent me money on PayPal, which means that somebody sent me a tip through Stream Elements, and I didn't see the notification, so now I'm kind of annoyed.
Jessa Proxy says, but he is a bigot. Oh, most certainly. However, as a politician, when everything you're doing is for the purpose of placating a base in one form or another, you can find yourself in some weird hot water.
So yeah, Anonymous sent me 420 to say that pun deserved a tip. And I'm sorry, Anonymous, but that was long enough ago that I don't remember what the pun was. So yeah, DeSantis created a big mess, and now he's trying to backtrack because he realized how unpopular it is and how big of a mess it is. So yeah, it's not the only example of the governor having to make adjustments to ideology he championed while seeking the White House. He also made concessions in the settlement of several lawsuits involving the state and Walt Disney World. So if you remember DeSantis versus Disney, DeSantis is such a shit person that he could make me root for the Disney Corporation.
Yeah,
they are fucking evil. Disney himself was probably a Nazi sympathizer. I know the guy who played Geppetto, who Disney had a hand in hiring, was basically a Nazi, which is very it makes Pinocchio much harder to watch. I don't mean Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is not a Nazi. Tom Hanks is delightful. Don't be hating on Tom Hanks.
I have a friend who his girlfriend's Jewish, and it is very hard for her to stomach anything Disney because of that associated history.
Yeah. Like, they never distance themselves from it, really. And it's kind of gross. And, like, I don't know, I have a love-hate relationship with them because they do have so many good movies. But I mean, modern Disney seems to have lost any sort of passion. Like, they just see what makes money and are like, let's do that more. And then when people stop coming to see that, we will do something different. We will pivot to something different that is easy and makes, like, the live action remakes. Like,
the live action remakes are also done so that they can maintain their copyrights, if memory serves, because there's
that's not how copyright works. It would be the trademarks that they want to maintain, because trademarks you have to
trademarks for their copyright, for their merchandising.
Yeah, and copyright just expires eventually anyway, like whether they use it or not. That's how Steamboat Willie ended up in the public domain. Jassa says, but have you seen Wish? I have seen the first 20 minutes of Wish. It is... I completely understand the people who say it looks like you asked ChatGPT to write you a Disney movie.
I have never heard anything positive about Wish, so it's weird. Like
it's not like the worst thing Disney's ever put out. Like, see the crows from Dumbo. Literally, one of them named Jim.
So it's weird because
Wish is the Wish.com version of a Disney movie.
The last Disney movie that I watched all the way through, like a new Disney movie, was Encanto. And Encanto was really, really good. And then when I saw the advertisements for Wish, it looked like they were just making Encanto again, but with slightly different people. That's what it. What was the girl's? What it looked like to me at a glance.
What was the girl's name in Encanto? I'm drawing a blank.
Girl's name in Encanto. Yeah. I don't remember off the top of my head.
God damn it, because
Mirabelle.
Mirabelle. So you probably already know this, but on the off chance that I'm about to blow your mind, did you know that the voice actor for Mirabelle is the same voice actor as Vaggie in Has Been Hotel?
That makes sense. So every character in Has Been Hotel after the pilot, because the pilot has a different voice cast, every character in Has Been Hotel, their voice sounds like somebody else I've watched, because it always is. Like
Yeah.
Keith David's is the obvious standout where you're like, yeah, I recognize you. Also, the fact that Keith David sounds absolutely nothing like Husk's original voice actor, so like it doubly stood out to me.
I don't actually remember noticing a difference.
So
But it was also probably like a week in between my watching the first episode and the second.
Well, so the first episode isn't the actual first episode. The first episode is episode 2. The pilot episode on YouTube is the actual first episode of Has Been Hotel.
I think I watched that by myself at some point.
Okay, and the pilot episode did not have basically the Broadway cast that we have in the new one. Husk's original voice sounded like this. It's good, but it was very like generic wannabe tough guy.
Apparently we don't want to talk about Ron DeSantis.
Apparently not. Weird.
Okay. Fennec says, I love the new Husk better. Yeah, Suris and I actually just had a conversation right now, about, like today, about how Keith David should be more mainstream than he is. Like, I didn't realize that Keith David was Childs in the original The Thing. Well, I think what everybody thinks of as the original was the first remake. I think they did a different one like the 60s. I might be wrong there. I know there is a movie that like got a modern remake that the one that everybody thinks is the original from the 80s was actually itself a remake. I don't know. Okay. Diehard Anime Otaku says, did you watch the most recent episode of Bluey? No, I did not. I know that it's a big deal. And yes, I am going to. The thing is, my partner wants to turn that into like a big event with all the kids and do it all together. But her kids are on vacation with their dad for the week. So we're keeping ourselves isolated from that right now. But yeah. Anyway, back to DeSantis. So that was the Don't Say Gay bill that banned classroom lessons on gender identity and sexual orientation. And the Associated Press asked DeSantis' office for examples of liberal activists abusing the law, and it provided one. Friend of the show, Chaz Stevens, a South Florida resident who has often lampooned the government. He raised challenges in dozens of school districts over the Bible, dictionaries, and thesauruses.
Yay, let's just ban everything.
That was his thing. If you're going to ban things that mention sex, got to ban the dictionary, got to ban thesaurus.
Got to ban the Bible. That's a weird thing to say in the chat, Jesse. It's me, your buddy, your friend. Absolutely nothing parasocial about it. I do not know who you are, but also hi.
You just crushed their parasocial relationship.
I did. I'd crush them like my leg.
Yep. The change to the law ensures that book challenges are limited for individuals like Chaz, who do not have children with access to the school district's materials. DeSantis spokeswoman Julia Friedland said in an email. She didn't reply to follow-up emails requesting more examples. So, funny thing, the only example they could find of a liberal abusing the system was the one guy who, anytime laws like this are passed, he ends up in the news for showing the loopholes. So, like, that's the same guy that sent the "In God We Trust" posters to Texas school boards where it was written in Arabic because it didn't specify that it had to be in English. This is the same guy that erected the beer can Festivus pole across from one of the nativity scenes. Like, this is what he does. This is his thing. Is like, oh, there's a loophole in that law. I am going to exploit that. So, like, it's very telling that that is the only person they could find that is a liberal abusing this law, so to speak. Meanwhile, you have Moms for Liberty challenging any book that dares to mention that gay people exist. But
imagine that being basically your special interest, as it were. Every single time a law comes out that is easily abusable, you're just like, hey, you should have made this a little more ironclad. Here's where you fucked up. That's just like that is a thing that you can just have as a legacy.
Yeah, so I guess he started his whole thing when 11 years ago he made national news when he installed a Festivus pole made out of beer cans across from a nativity scene displayed in the Capitol, and he was delighted that DeSantis' office singled him out. This is so Chaz. He says, when they need to make stupid stupider, they send me up. I'm part comedian, part activist, and part artist. I just want a better society, Stephen said. I'm an idiot, but a smart guy at the same time.
Jesus Christ. That's better than what the conservative version of that joke would have been. I'm stupid, but I identify as smart.
Yeah. Okay, we've got a first-time chat from... Oh, there we go. Fennec's on it. Thank you, Fennec. Just had a bot in the chat trying to get people to go to a website.
Fuck him.
No, I don't want to reward him with my lovely dick.
Okay, so don't fuck him, but... I don't know. Fuck it.
So... In Florida, there's been a long-standing tradition, like this says DeSantis' predecessor, current Republican Senator Rick Scott, but it's been this way for like a couple decades now, I think, is that in the Florida state capitol in Tallahassee, they have the third floor rotunda is designated the free speech zone, where anyone can just like peacefully demonstrate to show their support or opposition to whatever might be going on in the legislature. DeSantis enacted new rules where people could be arrested for just demonstrating there. For
you're right.
Rather ironically,
rather
ironically, given what a lot of the January 6th defendants are being charged with, the thing that he put it is like trying to delay or interfere with an official proceeding, which like that's almost verbatim the language that is in the statute that the January 6th defendants are being targeted with, except the difference being that like there's a difference between going to the Capitol Rotunda with a sign saying, hey, don't vote for this, and breaking into the Capitol to like violently stop them from voting for the next president. So like one of those is a legit thing that you don't want to happen, and the other is free speech. So
remember, though, the party of lower government oversight.
Yep.
The party of small government.
Yeah, DeSantis would say that he is a free speech champion, free speech defender. He eliminated the free speech zone in the Capitol building. So, do make of that what you will. Chaz says, I didn't realize I have the power of millions. I'm just one guy, and I'm an agitator. I know my role in this. And Driscoll pointed out that DeSantis warned there would be problems with the book ban law passed in 22. He says, we told him so. The Florida House Democrats on the floor, in our debate, in our questioning, we pointed out the vagueness of the original law, how it could be subject to abuse, she said. Chaz is not the problem. It's folks who are taking liberties with the law that are the problem. So, yeah. There we go. Well, it took us an hour, but we made it through our first news story.
We did.
Yay.
I'm so proud of us.
I think that deserves a celebration. And the thing that I can do to celebrate...
You're right.
No, the thing that I can do to celebrate that you are going to fucking hate, but thanks to our last stream, I now have this audio that I can play anytime I like.
Ooh.
So...
I love that I couldn't hear any of that audio.
You can't hear that?
Nope.
Oh, that's because I have it, fuck. Okay, I need to...
While you figure that out, I'm gonna go put pizza in the air fryer.
Oh, everybody in the chat is,
You got this. I believe in you.
Okay. Can you hear it now? Oh, no, I can't. I can't even hear that. Okay, that's not gonna work. Game. Let's try game. I might need to... Mixer? Game goes up.
Ooh.
Okay. Suris will be back with pizza, and then I will make him very angry by playing that audio. Neuramdaput says maybe him not hearing is for the better. Yeah, maybe. I mean, Suris is streaming this as well, so all you guys in Suris' end of this.
Oh, well.
You're not going to get this much out of him on a normal stream.
Oh, well.
That's what he gets for leaving. So we're just going to put it on repeat.
Oh, well.
Oh, did somebody redeem a... Oh, there's a hat.
Okay.
Okay, I think I fixed it.
All right. In 5 minutes, I will have delicious pizza. So, what was it? Oh, well. Die in a fire. I hope everybody rejects you for the rest of your life. Oh, well. Oh, well.
I have that on a button now.
Oh, well. Can I have the coordinates to your house for your purely innocent reasons?
Sure, let me just quickly Google the coordinates to to one of the Supreme Court justices' house in a hurry for unrelated reasons. Someone redeemed a hat, so I think I have to put one on.
Tales of Atonement. What? Fuck you!
Oh, did someone just redeem one?
God damn it!
Yes!
Fuck! Fine. Then Vice Brown is probably going to be hitting the record button again because he's... Oh, he doesn't have to! It's on a stream!
I've been recording this whole time.
Oh, whoa. There, you did it.
That wasn't a good one, so here's a better one. Here's a better one.
Oh, whoa. Why? Why? Also, no, I still have no idea who you are, person. Jesus Christ. Old pal, surely you remember me. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
God, I remember the great times we had.
Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Nixie-chan, the Oberon team, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.